We're going to go on to the 205, this big handicap. Obviously, the Coral Cup was today. Tomorrow, it's the Pertemps Network final. Someone who's got a particularly good record in that is John Joe O'Neill. But anyway, let's get over to Sam in Twitter Corner and see if there's any more jumper doubles or any more thoughts about the Paul Nicholls bad run of form here at Cheltenham.
Yeah, we had a couple of people respond to that. Mark Jolly's come back to me and said, well, he thinks his horse has been running okay. They're just not good enough. They're running to where they should be, roughly, which probably isn't the most unfair comment, I'd say, overall, looking at it. A couple more of your jumper doubles in. Nikki Bowler said she's gone for a Pine de Ree in the 205 and Alfaroff. Obviously not concerned by Alfaroff's run last time out. I've also had Bert tweet me in. Good evening, Bert. He's gone for Jetson and Alfaroff again. Another person not put off. Not seeing too many of you coming out now for Dynast. Have I put you off a little bit there? I know the guys will be talking about that a little bit later. We've also got, guys, loads of your tweets coming in about your best bets for tomorrow. Big Bucks 4-1 seems to have shocked a few of you. I know our very own Adam Ward said he's going to go and get his suitcase full of cash and walk down to his nearest paddy power to get that on. So, like I say, keep your eyes peeled. Those horses are drifting, and get your tips in for these races. I think Peter's going to talk about the market leader in the next race for the Pertemps, so I'll pass you back over.
Yeah, I certainly am, and I looked at this handicap, and one that stood out to me, even though they're probably joint favourites, we'll have a look at the prices maybe a bit later on. I'll go back to Sam. It's Fingal Bay is not the one for me, but it's If in Doubt, and that's the one I really am strong about tomorrow. In this race. I know it's a big handicap. I think it's between two, and I think the ride that Tom O'Brien gave, If in Doubt, if you watch that over again, McCoy's now taking over. You said yesterday, we'll watch out for this JP McManus one. He almost had the winner today, didn't he? I think this one could be it tomorrow with the record that JP's got in this one with Hollywell and a couple of other horses.
Well, that race that you're talking about was at Exeter in heavy ground, and they meet on similar terms tomorrow. Fingal Bay obviously had a failed chasing career. He fell at Exeter, it was a while back now, I think it was over a year ago, and he actually had a tendon problem after that. So that was a very, very good comeback run for Fingal Bay.
Both trained by Hobbs that day as well.
Yeah,
they're both trained by Hobbs.
I think that Fingal Bay...
Confirmed form or not?
I think he'll confirm the form with him.
Really?
I do. Even though he's carrying...
Let's talk to someone who talks sense.
No, I disagree. I mean, much as it gives me no confidence to agree with you, Peter, I do agree with you.
You do agree with me, and I think the 7-1 will be gone by the time this repeat goes out.
I think it's like quick enough for Fingal Bay after that race, and I think, you know, when I looked at If in Doubt, it's just a typical handicapper where there is clearly more to come. You know, you've not seen the best of the horse, as you alluded to. His run last time, he wasn't really, you know, he wasn't beaten up when he was beaten. It was. You know, a horse that's shaped like he would do better. I think he's a very worthy favourite.
Well, we want to talk about any others. I mean, Joseph's order's gone up £14 for winning. A lot of horses have gone up quite a lot for winning.
That Will Bowler was keen on Topwood after he won at Haydock last time. He's tongue-tied for the first time. And obviously Pipe's had a very good festival so far. You've got to have a look at that horse. You can't... Any sort of handicap runner from Pipe like this is always one to keep an eye on. I'm actually interested in the two Henderson runners. I've obviously had an anti-post bet on Utopia Des Boards. I flagged him up probably about over a month ago now. Obviously, when Henderson was on the phone, I said about the slip of the tongue.
And this was the one, was it? Just remind us.
It was, yeah. Henderson, he was talking about horses and he slipped out about Utopia Des Boards. He went, and you sort of...
And you class that as that's going to win a 24-runner Pertemps Network handicap at Cheltenham.
We can have a little laugh about that,
yeah.
But I'm not as confident as I was, purely because Barry Geraghty's chosen his other runner. And I'm so shocked by it because I was so certain that Barry was going to choose.
I'm not though, because Barry has been tending to ride the other horse, Mr. Dillon, and he hasn't been tending to ride this horse. David Bass has ridden this a few times.
Utopia Des Boards was ridden by Barry Geraghty at Haydock when he finished a length behind.
You sure you're pronouncing that horse right?
Yeah. He was beaten a length by Jevray Chambertin at Haydock in the fixed brush hurdle. Since has run at Kempton and Ascot in mares events and hasn't been trying as far as I'm concerned. So they've got it down in the handicap. But when I've just seen today when Barry's chosen Mr. Dillon, I had to have a look at Mr. Dillon then, because there's a reason he's chosen. He's obviously first choice jockey. He won at Doncaster in December off a mark of 130. The one thing I would say about Mr. Dillon, he's not over big, but he's a real trier. Needs good ground, which he's going to get. And he was second in the qualifier for this at Musselburgh behind a horse called Wise Teabags.
You've backed a few times, Wise TV.
Well, yeah, they're both big prices. They're both about 25 to 1, and I'm hoping Utopia can win.
Okay, give us two in this field, Billy.
Yeah, I know. I share that. Utopia Des Bordeaux, however you say it is interesting, and I mark that down as probably the better of the two Henderson ones. Just touching on David Pipe, he's got top wood. He's also got Bordeaux Buffalo. On this one's novice form, he'd be very well in here. You know, he ran to about, I think, 150 in his novice days, and he's in here off 138. He's not been in the best form this year, but he could go well. But my two against the field would be If in Doubt and Utopia Des Bordeaux.
Your two against the field?
I'll stick with the two Henderson. I'll go for Mr. Dillon, Utopia Des Bordeaux.
Okay, well, my one against the field is If in Doubt, and I think this will be backed off the boards tomorrow. I think 7 to 1 will soon go and he'll end up favourite. But let's get over to Sam in Twitter Corner and get the current prices on those horses.
Yeah, not quite being backed yet, but maybe we're a little bit early to be looking at. So Peter's pick at the moment, If in Doubt, is a 7 to 1 favourite. That's joint with Fingal Bay, so like I say, you've got 7 to 1 the pair at this point in time. Now, looking at the slightly bigger prices, both of the Henderson pair that the guys have been talking about are in quite positive manners. You can get 25 to 1 about each of them, so I tell you what, why not take the pair on in a race like this at 25 to 1? You can have a nice each way punt and hopefully get a place and you'll be laughing, get a win and you'll be even happier. Also, Billy did go on to mention Broadway Buffalo, who he was going back in time to have a little look at some form there. You can get, 28s are gone now, so it's 25s in places, best price available. Keep your tips coming in. I'd like to hear what's going to win because I think you guys are better judges than the panel to my right, and I suspect you've got the winner here. Get your jumper doubles in. A few of you saying you can't pick out winners tomorrow, we'll enter the jumper double and it won't cost you anything and you still might win. I'll pass you back over to the guys.
Second day normally more notorious than the first. The third day normally the easiest. So I don't necessarily think it's the case tomorrow either, but it's very competitive.